Okay.
Okay. So this is the sheep brain dissection. I did already cut into it. But here we have, up here is the frontal lobe. And the frontal lobe is in charge of all of the like greater thinking that happens in the brain. So higher functions, like the executive functions, voluntary movements, things like that. And then behind that, in this section here, we have, oh my gosh, oh, we have our parietal lobe, which is in charge of our senses. So this is the parietal lobe up here, and it's in charge of like motor function and sensory input and output. And then down below we have, down here is the occipital lobe. The occipital lobe is in charge of vision, or down here, right here, this section here is the occipital lobe, which is in charge of our vision. And then we have the temporal lobe, which is this portion here. And the temporal lobe is in charge of more of like behavior, memory. And then, so we have also then this spinal cord, and the spinal cord is what connects the brain to the rest of the body. And the spinal cord is connected to the hindbrain. So we're gonna look inside. I already cut it open. So here we have the spinal cord is connected to the hindbrain, which is here, and then we have the midbrain and the forebrain. So these are all of the like more internal structures of the brain. And inside of that we have here, this is the cerebellum, and the cerebellum is in charge of balance, coordination. And then we have here, this is so closest to the spinal cord, we have the medulla. And the medulla is in charge of like involuntary maintenance, so things like heart rate and breathing, blood pressure. It can also have some of the like reflexes, like coughing, hiccuping, that kind of thing. That happens in the medulla. After the medulla, we have the pons, and here the pons, that's part of sleep regulation. And another part that is part of our sleep regulation is up here, which is our pineal body, and that's going to release melatonin. And then we have, moving forward towards the forebrain, we have the hypothalamus. Let's see if I can. So the hypothalamus is after this right here. So up here is the hypothalamus, and the hypothalamus is in charge of appetite, sleep, body temperature, a lot of other homeostatic regulations. And then, of course, we have this, which is the corpus callosum, and the corpus callosum is what connects the two hemispheres of the brain so that they're able to communicate with each other. And then I really want to be able to see the pituitary gland, and I cannot find it. Maybe, I don't know if sheep have pituitary glands. I don't know. Okay, and then up here, I know I was trying to find the optic nerve earlier. There should be an optic nerve that's connecting the brain to the occipital lobe. Let's see. So this is the spinal cord. This piece here is the hypophysis, which is the pituitary gland. So the pituitary gland is in charge of endocrine function, so it releases a lot of like hormones and things like that. And then like this is the optic nerve here, and I cannot find it. I'm gonna try cutting in and see if I can find it. So the optic nerve should be connecting the occipital lobe to the, oh, I think this is it right here. I think this is the optic nerve, which is what connects the eyes to the occipital lobe. Let's see. What else can we show you? Okay, so there's the thalamus, and the thalamus is located right up here. And the thalamus is in charge of sensory relay, so it's where our sensory input comes in, and motor input motor output goes out. It's yeah. I don't know. Let's see. And then back up here, we should have the olfactory bulb. So this up here, the like utmost structure of the brain, see if I can see it up here, is the olfactory bulb. And so the olfactory bulb is the one that's connected directly to the nose, and that's where we're gonna get our sensory input for scent. And then, let's see. I don't know how many I have right now. Is that including the, I'm gonna cut a little bit more and see if I can see in this layer some of the other structures of the midbrain. If that cut is what I wanted. I think that should be good. Let's see. I can just follow it here. Get a little piece of it. Okay. No, it's not anymore. Okay. Okay, so what I'm looking for right now is the hippocampal structure. And I believe that the hippocampus is this like lower portion of the forebrain, or midbrain, like forebrain, yeah, forebrain. And hippocampus is in charge of a lot of our memory storage, and other like important brain functions, emotional states, short-term converting to long-term. And then, so one of the other structures that is obviously really important is the gray matter versus the white matter of the brain. So if we look, we can see that there's the like gray matter structures and these gyrri, which are the folds of the cerebral cortex. And so the folds are obviously important because that's how we get so much so much nerve cells in our brain. So the gray matter is where the cell bodies are, and then the white matter, and so the cell bodies are obviously the part that where the like messages come through and controls the cell, and then the white matter is where the like dendrites and axons are. So that's where all of the big communication is happening. And so they're obviously found throughout this inner portion. You can see the white portions versus the gray portions. And then we have the different ventricles of the brain, which are normally filled with cerebral spinal fluid. And obviously we don't have those right now because they're it's filled with gross embalming fluid or whatever this is. And then another important part is the, so up here we have the fourth ventricle. And the fourth ventricle is really important because is that what I'm looking for? Yeah, the fourth ventricle. So we're looking at places where cerebral spinal fluid is produced. And so cerebral spinal fluid is basically like the blood of the brain. It's where a lot of our because it has all the helper cells that help assist with brain function, like the astrocytes, I think. Okay, and then, so like the more basic parts of the brain, we want to talk about the cerebrum. So the cerebrum is the big, obviously this big portion of the brain, which is divided into the two hemispheres. So we have the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere of the brain. And then we have, and then, so when we're looking at the brain, we have succulus. So the succulus are these cute little, I don't know why I said cute, but the grooves in the brain. And so basically the more gyri and succuli that we have, that means that there's more nerves there. Oh, that's loud. That's fine. I think that's it. I think that's where we're getting at. I think that dissection.